Good morning. Welcome to today's maths. Okay, it's the 13th of January. It is Wednesday, halfway through the week. We made it. Woo! Okay, so our skill today for maths is to divide to make fractions. Okay, so if you could please write your date and your skill as always and underline it neatly with a ruler, making sure that you have underlined and ruled off yesterday's work. Okay, come back when you're ready to start your arithmetic. Okay, so your arithmetic today, you have got your 9 times tables. Okay, your silver challenge is a balancing challenge today. So, for example, number 1 is 363, add 45. So you need to find out the answer of that before you can work out the next part, which is 102 plus, okay? So both parts of the equal sign, because the equal means the same as or equal to, they have to be the same. So whatever one side totals, the other side has to total too. And for your goal challenge, you are finding the factors of those numbers. Okay, so you might want to use your factor rainbows to help you remember how to do those. Okay, and then just come back when you're ready, but take your time, really try your best. Okay, so your arithmetic then, here are your answers. Okay, just make sure you go through, tick the ones that you got correct or didn't. Okay, well obviously don't tick the ones that you didn't get correct, but if you did get any incorrect, then obviously just go through, make sure you know where you made your mistake, if you know how to overcome that. And I do apologise for the numbers on the gold answers today. They say 11 to 20, but I'm sure you can use your common sense to work out which questions are the answers to. Okay, so let's recap then. So which of these representations of 4/5 are incorrect? We looked at fractions yesterday. What was a fraction? Okay, so you need to think about this carefully. Which of the representations of 4/5 are incorrect? Pause the video, come back when you've decided. Okay, so if we remember that our denominator tells us how many equal parts it's been divided into, and the numerator tells us how many equal parts we've got. Okay, so we can see clearly here this has been divided into 5 parts, this pentagon, and 4 parts are shaded. That is a true representation. This here shows us we have got 4 out of the 5 pieces. That is correct. The dogs then, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dogs. Okay, that's correct. Are 4 of them the same? No. So this picture here, this representation shows us either 2/5, because there's 2 dogs out of the 5, or 3/5, which is showing the 3 brown dogs out of the 5. So that is not a true representation, that is incorrect. Going down to the dots then, we have got 5 dots, so again that is right, our denominator is correct there. And we have got 4 of them which are purple, so that is also correct. Finally, we have got our box down the bottom here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's been divided into 5 and 4 of them are blue. Is that correct? What do you think? I'm hoping you're saying no, and I'm hoping the reason that you're saying no is because they are not equal in size. Okay, remembering fractions have to be equal parts. This definitely isn't, because this is a lot bigger here than this here, or even this, okay? Has to be equal. That's not correct either. Okay, so let's learn then. So, I know already that you're thinking, this is so easy, I know the answer already. But hold fire, okay? It's just warming you up gently. So I have 6 sweets that I would like to divide equally between 2 children. Okay, so 6 sweets, 2 children. Is it possible to divide the sweets equally? Explain how. So have a quick talk to your partner, or if you're at home, write it down, or just have a think, because I know you probably will know already. Okay, we've already done some dividing just before Christmas. Fingers crossed that you know. Okay. Obviously we can divide it. Okay, but let's write it as a fraction. So the amount we need to divide by is 2, as there are 2 children. So is this going to be our numerator or our denominator? Okay. So hopefully you're saying it's going to be our denominator because we need to share them between 2. We're dividing by 2. And then we have the sweets, which represent the equal parts. So because we have 6 sweets, the 6 is going to go above the 2 like this. Now the 6 above the 2 just means 6 divided by 2. So we know that the children will get 3 sweets each. Okay. When the numerator is larger than the denominator, it is called an improper fraction. Now, we're usually, when you see fractions, you'll see 1/2, so 1/2, or 1/3. Okay, this is slightly different because the number on the top, the numerator, is larger, it's a bigger number than the bottom, which makes it a little bit more tricky. So let's learn. So as I said, 6/2 is the same as 6 divided by 2. We've got 6 sweets to divide or share between the 2 children, so they get 3 sweets each. I can hear you saying this is so easy. Let's try another one. This time we have 9 apples to share between 3 children, or divide between 3 children. So calculate how many apples each child will get. Okay, so we have got our fraction here. What's going to get at the bottom is our number 3, because that's our denominator. We've got 3 children that we are sharing the apples between, so we're dividing by the 3 children. Okay, so hopefully you'll now know that the 9 apples go at the top is our numerator, because they are the amount of equal parts that we've got to share. Okay, and we can see that we've got 9 apples, and if we divide them into 3 equal groups, so if we draw 3 circles around them, we can equally divide it by 3. So each child will get 3 apples. Okay, because 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so remember the inverse when we looked at that before. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay, it's going to get a little bit trickier now. What if I have 1 apple? Okay, I've got 1 apple. How can I divide it between 3 children? What do I need to do to divide it between 3 children? So first of all, I'm going to do 1 divided by 3. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So if I divide it by 3, each child will get 1/3 of the apple. Okay, so I have cut my apple into 3 equal pieces. So each child will get 1/3 of an apple. Did that look like magic? Did it look like it just all fell apart into thirds? Because I held it like this. Okay. So this is an apple, and we have cut it into 3 equal parts. So each child will get 1/3 of an apple. Because 3/3, so we've got 1/3, this is 2/3, this is 1/3. It makes 3/3, which is 1 whole apple. 1 whole, okay? This is 1/3. So each child will get 1/3 of the apple. Okay, what if there are 5 apples? How can I work out 5 apples divided by 3? So we're going to write it as our improper fraction. So 5 divided by 3. And we're going to see how many groups of 3 there are in 5. Okay, so how many times can you circle 3 apples? It is 1. It's 1 group of 3 apples in 5 apples. Okay, so how many are left over? We've we've got 2 left over. So what do we do with the 2 apples that are left? Okay, we're going to write it as this. So this is our improper fraction, 5 over 3. So 5 divided by 3. Okay, and then this is called a mixed fraction. So we have got one group of 3 here, which we have identified with our number 1. Then we've got our 2 left over, which we have written here as number 2. We've still got our 3 at the bottom. Okay, so each child will get 1 apple, 1 whole apple, and 2/3 of an apple. I'm going to show you. So each of these represents the apples, okay? So I've got 5 fraction wheels to represent my 5 apples. Okay, this is our group of 3. So we know that each child will get 1 whole apple. It's all the same colour. They are getting 3/3, which is 1 whole. So each of these children, so if you say the pink hairband gets the pink one, the yellow bag gets the green one, and the blue bag gets the blue one. Okay, they've got 1 whole apple each. Now, because we've got 2 apples left over, we need to work out how much of the apples and how it can be shared equally. Now, we have to split the 2 apples by 3 because this is what we're dividing by. We've got 3 children. So we've divided it into 3. And we can see now that by dividing the 2 apples into 3, we've got a total of 6. So they get 2 pieces of apples each. So 2/3. So they've got 1 whole apple up here and 2/3 of an apple each. Okay? It's a lot to take in. So if you need to rewind the video as many times as you like, okay, or just pause it, it's completely up to you. So let's try another one. So this time I have 7 apples to share equally between the 3 children. What fraction will each child get? What's the first thing to do? We're going to write it as an improper fraction. So which of my numbers is going to go at the bottom? So I have 7 apples to share equally between the 3 children. So what's my denominator? It is 3. Dividing by 3 children. So my numerator is 7. How many equal groups of 3 go into 7? So how many groups of 3 can you circle? Okay, so you've got 2 groups of 3. Got 1 group, 2 groups of 3, and there's 1 left over. Okay, so here's your 2 groups. Okay, so each child will get 2 apples each. Because we have 7 apples, each of these apples here represent a wheel. So this apple. So we can see that each child can have 2 whole apples. How many left over? There's 1 apple left over. Okay, so if I've got 1 apple, I need to cut it into 3 for the 3 children. So now we can see that each child will get 2 whole apples and 1/3 of another apple. Okay, so we've got our 2 whole groups, which represents the 2, and then we've got 1 left over, which we write still using our 3 as our denominator. So we've got 2 and 1/3. So each child will get 2 whole apples and 1/3 of an apple. Okay. So this is your guided practice. So write this down with me. Do it as I do it, okay? If you need to pause the video and go at your own pace, that's absolutely fine. I'd much rather you do that than whiz ahead and not understand it. So really take your time. Okay, write this down. 7 donuts are shared equally among 5 people. What fraction of a donut does each person get? Pause video, make sure you're writing it down. Okay, then come back when you're ready to move on. Okay, so the first things first, we're going to write down our improper fraction. So we have got 7 donuts, which are our 7 equal parts, and we're dividing them equally among 5 people. So they need to be shared between 5. Okay, so these are our donuts. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 donuts here, because we can make one group of 5 in 7. However, we've still got 2 donuts left. So far, each of these children have got 1 donut each. We've got 2 left. Okay, so that's the 1 each that they've got. So they've got 1 whole colour each. And each of these have got 5 segments, okay, because they're fifths, because this is what we're dividing by. So we've got 2 donuts left over. Now if we're going to divide it equally, okay, we've got 5 pieces on each one. So we can give 1 piece to yellow, 1 piece to blue, 1 piece to green, 1 piece to pink, 1 piece to light blue. Okay, that's still only 6 donuts, but we've got 7, so we need to do the same again. So overall, we can see that each child will end up with 1 whole donut and 1 2/5 of a donut. Okay, because if we go back to how we learned it before as well, 5 goes into 7 one time, and there are 2 left over. Okay, so it says 2/5. So if you've got 7 donuts up here, if you draw a circle around 5 of them, that's one group. So we write 1, and then we've got 2 left over, which is our 2/5. Okay, so here is your independent practice. So calculate the following, writing both the improper fraction and the mixed fraction. Okay, so I'd like you to go through, answer those questions. So 7 divided by 4, 8 divided by 4, and for each one write it as an improper fraction, so your denominator and your numerator. So if it's improper, your numerator will be larger than your denominator. Okay, and then the mixed fraction. They might not all have mixed fractions, they might just be whole numbers. Okay, if it helps you, draw the fraction wheel and colour it in. Okay, so if you're dividing by 4, your fraction wheel will have 4 pieces. If you're dividing by 5, your fraction wheel will have 5 pieces. If you're dividing by 3, your fraction wheel will have 3 pieces. And if you're dividing by 2 or 6, again, they'll have the same number, 2 or 6 pieces. Okay, good luck with that. Really take your time. Go back to the video through and through as you wish, okay? Your final thought then, true or false? 5 divided by 2 is 2 1/5. True or false? This is a great opportunity to have a chat and to identify why you think it's correct or not. Okay, or if you're at home, just write it down in your book. Perhaps use your blue pen for your reason and explain why you think it's true or false. Okay, pause the video because I'm about to tell you the answer. The answer is false. Because, well, I've written it the wrong way around. Because 5 divided by 2 is 2 1/2. Okay, so it's just been written the wrong way around. So it's not it's not 2 1/5. It's 2 1/2. 1 over 2. Because 2 goes into 5 2 times, and there's 1 left over. Okay, super. So if you would like your answers for your maths questions today, here they are. Hopefully you got on okay with those. Okay, well done for trying your hardest as always. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.